Welcome back to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt, and today we're opening up a box of worms. And by worms, I mean bourbon. By bourbon, I mean bourbon. Today, we're unboxing and uncorking a bottle with a new image. This troublemaker was being a bit too loud, so society told it to quiet itself down. So this rebel dropped the yell, and this bottle is Rebel 10-year. The quieter, more laid back, less yelling version of its former self. This is a Lux Row Special 10-year-old Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey Single Barrel. Before we get into today's review, gotta let you know that today's video is sponsored by the most comfortable manufacturer of clothing on the planet, IntoTheAM.com. IntoTheAM.com has the most comfortable, most breathable, most flexible shirts on the planet, Janet. If you're slow to the game and haven't jumped on the Into the AM train, well, you're running late, partner. Click on the link in the description below. Use code ADHD at checkout and save 10%. Join their monthly tea club, and you're gonna get a free t-shirt your first month. They have graphic tees like this graphic bugger, or they have basic tees if you're a basic bee, like me. Now that we've talked about our friends over at IntoTheAM.com, let's talk about Rebel 10-year Single Barrel from Lux Row. The difference between whiskey and wine. If wine comes in a box, generally bad. If bourbon comes in a box, generally good. Rebel Single Barrel is aged a full 10 years to provide a rich and rebellious flavor. The single barrel process creates a flavor profile unique to each barrel. The end result is an extra smooth sippin' whiskey that honors the rebel in all of us. Let's get rebellious and take this box's top off. America, America. Ooh, new label is sharp and shiny silver. Black and silver, black and silver, black and silver. Y'all know what it is. Beautiful bottle. I love the bottle shape. I love the design. Looks sharp, looks fancy. It says aged 10 years, twice on the top and once on the front, and once on the back, just in case you forgot how long it was aged. And America. It's rebellious and petite. In case you forgot, I was a big fan of the original Rebel Yell 10-year, which some of them were over 10 years old, some of them closer to 13 or 14 years old. I'm wondering if the new label comes a new bourbon, or if it's just as good as always. This son of a bugger is supposedly sourced from Heaven Hill, which makes this, let's see, kind of like an Old Fitzgerald, kind of like an Old Fitz decanter. It's 10 years old. Weeded Heaven Hill mash bill. If you ever see a Rebel dizzier than this, I recommend running and finding cover, because you never know what a dizzy Rebel is capable of. Never cross a dizzy Rebel. That is what I've always said. That's just a word of advice, or words of advice, if you're into pluralness, plural marriage. What's up? Looking for a sister wife? No big deal. It's going for a nose. Oh, glorious. Yep. Ooh, I like that. Butterscotch, caramel. Ooh, the oak is now starting to pour out of this tiny little orifice. Oh yeah. Super sweet, delicious oak. Heavy barrel influence on this 10-year-old weeded bourbon. It's super sweet. It's like a cake. There aren't a ton of super dark notes coming off the nose. Not a lot of dark fruits or anything like that. It's a bit brighter. It's a bit brighter. It's white cake. It's cake frosting. Going back to it, a bit of citrus now. A little bit of orange peel, maybe a mandarin. The nose is wonderful. I friggin' dig the nose a lot. I like the nose a lot. Feeling rebellious? Let's take a ginormic sip. That was a tiny sip. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that. I love that. that is right up my alley. That is right up my ass. That is super sweet brown sugar frosted Pop-Tart oak. I'm just happy with that. I'm so happy with that. This is a pour that porter enjoys so bad. It has a medium-high level of viscosity. It's pretty oily, coats the mouth really well. The finish is long. It's sweet and barrel char. It's like a sweet barrel char down the back of your throat that just lingers there for the perfect. I just love this stuff. It's not the most complex bourbon on the planet. There's a couple twists and turns in here, from the sweet to the barrel to the char, but it's not overly complex. It's not gonna make you sit here and think about it forever. It's just an extra awesome, perfectly proofed, super sweet, barrel charred son of a bitch. Since it's a wheated bourbon, you're getting a lot of the sweetness on the front of the palate. A lot of the sweetness up front, and not a lot of impact on the back of the palate. So a lot of the flavors happening up here, but then the barrel char is happening on the back jowls. Over in the backstage access back here, behind the curtains, the barrel char flares up back here, like on a rack, like all the way in the back. There are a lot of bourbons out there that are absolutely impossible to get your hands on. A lot of wheated bourbons in particular, which are absolutely impossible to get your hands on. Like, you just cannot get them. No matter what, you cannot get them. You know what I'm talking about. The Pappy Van Winkles, the Wellers, the Old Fitzgeralds, they're just impossible to find. If you live in the right state, and if you're in the right place at the right time, you will be able to get your hands on a Rebel 10-year. And Rebel 10-year at like 80 bucks is awesome. To give this a score, it's gonna get a great score from me. I love it so much. Rebel 10-year single barrel is great. I love it. I give Rebel 10-year single barrel a score of 8.4? 8.4 Rebel single barrel? It's a heck of a score for a heck of a bourbon. Rebel 10-year, 8.4. Now that we've unboxed, tasted, and scored this Rebel 10-year, go ahead and hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, ring the ding-a-ling-ding-dong bell, leave a comment below. Is that one heck of a wheated bourbon or not? Probably gonna get a bunch of comments talking about how they can't find it in their area, and I get it. I'm sorry. I know it's hard to find in some places, but that's bourbon. That's the bourbon game. Some stuff doesn't come to some states. I'm here in Colorado, and I can find Rebel 10 once in a while. If you can't find it in your state, try to find a friend out of state, a bourbon friend who lives in a different state, who can get their hands on it, and pull a little trade ski. Offer up a little cashola to have them purchase you a bottle of the Rebel DL10. And with all that being said, my name is Matt. This is ADHD Whiskey. Like I always say, keep your head in the clouds, but your mind on projection, and projecting positive thoughts into the universe. Positive thoughts that make your life better and everybody else's. Just be positive. Throw positive vibes out there and have positive vibes come back your way. Just be a nice person. Be a good person, and the old karma train will come trickety-tracking down the tracks back in your direction, I would imagine. Just be nice, be a good person, help out a neighbor, help change a flat tire, help an old, crinkly, crusty, wrinkly lady across the street. Stop and smell the roses and realize that life is good. All I want is to be surrounded by positive people. And if you feel the positivity, if you want to be a positive pain in my ass, leave a comment below. A positive